Hey, welcome back. Quick video on first run review of the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. Now, I've only worn these for one race and it was new shoes, box fresh on race day. And I thought I'd give it a go for the London Big Half. Now, my main reason for choosing these as my race day shoe was because of how light they are. So I'll run through a few specs and yeah, let you know how it got on during the day, and the bigger picture is looking forward to Berlin Marathon, which is at the end of September, which is in about 2 and a bit weeks, maybe nearly 3 weeks. So yeah, basically a few specs. This shoe is, I'm usually a size 9. This is 8.5 because it's quite wide in the upper, and I thought I'd try and go for a totally precision fit, and also that was all that was available at Sports Shoes at the time with my discount. So it's UK 8.5 and it only just fits lengthwise, but it was actually okay on race day, so I managed to get away with it half size down. The weight, which is the main reason I went for it, is 185 grams for a max stack shoe, which is amazing. It's just so stripped back, yet you've got that massive wedge of FF Turbo Plus foam with a carbon plate in there as well. So it's an amazing weight, which over the duration of a marathon, I think you're going to reap the rewards. Yeah, with all those strides accumulated. So yeah, 185 grams per shoe, UK 8.5. It's 39.5 in the heel with a 5mm drop and going down to a 34.5, I think that'll be, in the mid forefoot. With the Sky Paris, you've got the carbon plate almost in the sort of middle bit here. You can see by this bit on the outsole here where the carbon plate is, in where they join. So the reason I chose this over the edge was, and also that's because it's red under there, I chose this over the edge because the edge is more like a Vaporfly, and from what I've heard, this is more like an Alphafly, where you've got more foam underneath the plate and less above it. So you've got more foam to sort of, so this has got more of a cruisy feel as opposed to something where the plate just suddenly sort of drops off into that mid to forefoot, forcing you onto there like the Vaporfly. And for marathon distance, I'd rather have something which is more of a sort of cruiser, which has got more energy response. And so that's why I went for this one with a plate position. So starting on the upper, we've got a Motion Wrap 2.0, which is, if you look at it, it's incredibly breathable. They've got these sort of strength sort of overlays in the sort of right places, like where the big toe is, and around the side here. And it's almost like it's just one bit of material which has been sort of very cleverly made, with minimal amount of any overlays. It's just so stripped back, and yet it's quite a simple design. It's got a fixed footbed. It's got amazing breathability because you can pretty much see through the upper. It's got the sort of ridge laces, very minimal tongue, which isn't gusted in any way at all. So that's flapping around. So it takes a bit of sort of positioning of the tongue to actually get the shoes on. But the heel count is actually quite rigid, and it's a traditional sort of padded heel counter. So over the duration of like a marathon, that should give you a nice amount of comfort. Yeah, like I said, it's fixed footbed inside, so they've got to make it as minimal and in terms of to save weight as possible, really. So that's the upper. It's quite wide, and there's got a lot of material here, but it's yeah, I managed to get away with an 8.5 lengthwise. There's about 4 or 5mm between the top end of my big toe and the end there, so it was just enough. But the main thing is the midsole, which is the FF Turbo Plus, and you've got the carbon fibre plate embedded within there. And so yeah, that's the sort of geometry shown there, with a max stack and the foam itself is just incredibly lightweight foam. You can really feel it when it comes out. It's just so lightweight. And if you wear a pair of light socks as well, you're saving as much weight as possible. The outsole is just a very thin layer of rubber with little gaps in between and a cutout here, exposed sort of EVA there. And then there's a bit of rubber here as well. So I've only done 13 miles in this. So yeah, performance wise, it felt really light under my feet. It's easy to get the high cadence going once I'd fully warmed up in the race. And this was on London Street, so it's pretty flat. The grip was fine, even over some sort of cobbled street area. And then pretty much for half marathon, you're on your forefoot in a way, so there's minimum sort of heel striking. And yeah, I PB'd on the course, which I was really happy with. I did I think Strava PB was 1:15:59, so I just dipped under 1 hour and 16, which I was happy with. And I'm probably going to be using this for Berlin Marathon as well, mainly due to the weight savings and the fact that it's max cushion with a carbon plate. And I'm hoping to get a PB in Berlin using these. In terms of the things that I didn't like about it, was going around sharp corners, because it feels like, because it's quite a high stack, it feels like you're basically sat on top of this big wedge of foam, and there's very little to stop your feet from sort of being forced to the sides when you're doing sharp turns. So stability wise, there's very little there at all. So if you've got a twisty turny course where you want to keep the speed up around the corners, this shoe is definitely not for that sort of course, because it's even with a sort of proper tight lockdown, I had to slow down quite a lot on some of those 180 degree sort of bends, or even 90 or above bends. I had to slow down a lot just due to stability, so that I didn't almost roll an ankle. So that is definitely a limitation, and some of the other sort of slightly heavier shoes have probably got better stability, because there's probably more overlays there on the upper to sort of hold that foot in and stop it from rolling. But yeah, it's a max stack shoe. It's almost as close as you can get weight wise to the Adidas, was it the Pro Evo, the crazy lightweight one. But this, I picked this one up from Sports Shoes with a sort of UK Athletics discount code. So I paid like 185 quid for these, which is, it's under half of what you pay for the Adidas equivalent. But yeah, so far I'm happy. But yeah, it does have limitations in terms of its stability. And yeah, just as a reference, weight-wise, what you're saving. So the other alternatives for, say, Berlin Marathon, I was thinking Vaporfly 2, almost box fresh. So this is going to be 20 grams per shoe lighter than the Vaporfly 2. Same stack height at the back here, less of a sort of drop. Alphafly 1 box fresh, which is coming in at 229 grams. So that's pretty much 44 grams difference per shoe from the Alphafly 1, which, yeah, so it's a big weight saving. So I'll probably use this over the Alphafly 1. And then there's also the Adios Pro 3, which was a potential for Berlin, which is 215 grams. Now that comes in that's a 30 gram per shoe saving, with the same sort of max stack midsole. And so yeah, this will probably be the one for Berlin. I'm happy with them so far. I mean, yeah, PBing on that course, my previous PB for a half marathon was Tunbridge Wells half, which has got a couple of big hills in the sort of middle part. So it wasn't a scientific sort of comparison, because the London one was flatter, so pretty sure it was going to be a quicker race anyway. But it was hotter. It was nearly 20 degrees by sort of latter sections of it. So that was against us, the intensity levels being restricted by it being overheating. But so yeah, overall I'm happy. So yeah, this is the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris and first run review. Thanks for watching. Bye.